Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week we're going to be talking about 5 ways to stay productive and getting your work done. Now, I found these things to help me out a lot. I think it's important to know that everybody's different, but for me, this is the difference between me being a B/C student to a straight A student, and not even just a student, but getting the things I want to get done outside of school. So if I want to read a book, yes, you have to. If you're like me who doesn't read, I'm not a natural reader. I have to actually practice reading. I mean, most people do, but there's talented people out there who just know how to read. Yeah, like my mom. I didn't get that gene. This is helpful for making sure you're balancing out your life as well and taking care of yourself and getting all the things you want to get done outside of whatever your main focus is. That could be running a business, that could be writing a book, whatever. This is my steps and my tips to being productive every single day and getting everything that you need to get done in order to achieve your big dreams. Let's get to it. All right, so my first step is, it's a pretty simple step, but you need to get sleep. Getting sleep is so important. I learned this, it hit me like a bus when I was taking the MCAT, because I remember I would stay up till like 2 a.m. studying, and then I would get up at like 6 a.m. so that's 4 hours of sleep. And don't count like the hour it takes for me to actually go to sleep once I'm in bed at 2 a.m. And then I would see throughout the day, I'd be reading stuff and it's not clicking here, and it's not staying in my head. And when I'm taking practice tests, I remember I just read this and I don't remember it. And so I noticed when I started getting 8 hours of sleep, and let me tell you right now,
plan for 8 hours because you're probably only gonna get 6.
Which is fine. It's still better than 4. It's still better than 3. It's still better than 2. It's still better than pulling all-nighters. How many of you have pulled all-nighters and then got nothing done? Or turned in your homework and got a D on it? Me, I have. So make sure you're getting enough sleep. I think it's really important to setting yourself up for having a productive day and making sure you're getting everything you need to get done. Second step, going off of the first step, is making sure that you get up early in the morning. Now it's hard. It is hard getting up early in the morning at first. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a morning person. Before I went to college, I was not a morning person. I hated mornings, especially when it came to school, because at the time I really didn't like school because I really didn't think it was for me. So when I went to college, I was living on my own. I took public transportation, so I had to make sure that I was getting to my stops on time, and I had to get to my classes on time, or else I'd be behind in class. And my classes started at 8 a.m. So what does that mean? I had to get up at 6 to take a shower, drink my coffee, to catch the train so that I could get to school, so I can get to class by 8 a.m. And when I tell you it was so hard at first, it was hard. Once you start setting, kind of that schedule, which is going to be one of the later tips. Once you start setting that schedule for yourself, it gets easier and easier and easier. And so I would say the thing that's going to catch you up, and the thing that's hard, and I catch myself doing this, is I have friends who did not get up early, and they were the ones that stayed up till like 3 a.m. and then slept until 11 a.m. And I want to hang out with my friends, right? So I'm like, maybe I should just stay out till 3 a.m. But regardless, I gotta get up at 6 a.m. So it's all about discipline. Discipline is very important. Say that you have a light day and you can take some time off and you want to spend that time with your friends, do that. If you feel like you have a test tomorrow and you still gotta wake up at 6 a.m., do not, I'm gonna repeat,
do not do it to yourself.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. Step number 3, I just said it. Set a schedule. This is an important step because This allows your brain to kind of go, it sounds sad a little bit, but go through the motions without really thinking, okay, next I have to study for this exam. Next I have to catch this train so I can get to this class. Next I have to make sure I feed myself. You know, if you have a schedule, you're not really putting so much energy into thinking about these things. I want you to know, this is all from my experience from undergrad. So this is really advice for, I mean, this can be advice for everyone, but specifically when I'm telling you what I did, this is my advice for my pre-medical students. When it comes to medical school, I haven't even started yet, like I said. So I have no idea how my sleep schedule is gonna change, what time I wake up in the morning. I have no idea how my schedule, I don't even know my school schedule yet. So I don't really know how that's gonna be, so you're gonna see how I navigate those things, but for right now, these are just general tips. I just had to say that. This is the most important step. You need to write your goals. And I mean your long-term goals, your short-term goals, your goals in between, constantly setting new goals for yourself. I'm gonna give examples of each. Short-term goals. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, what do I need to get done today? What are things I absolutely need to get done today? Write those out. It could be, I need to study for this exam. I need to read this chapter so I'm prepared for class. I need to do this worksheet. I need to go volunteer at this clinic. I need to do, like, those are things I absolutely need to get done today. Write those down first. Then after that, I write things that I would love to get done today to be prepared, even more prepared for the next day if I can. And going back on setting a schedule, I would make sure if I got up at 6 a.m., sounds crazy, but it worked for me. I usually would keep myself productive and continue doing things until about 8 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m. Now, that's a lot, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I was doing things straight. I went to class, I would be hanging out with friends in between, I would, make sure I'm feeding myself, going for walks, things like that in between. But the whole time, usually I wasn't even at my house. I was out doing something and being productive. After I write down the things that I want to get done and the things that I would like to get done, I number them off. So I'm like, this is the first thing I'm gonna do, this is the second thing I'm gonna do, this is the third thing I'm gonna do, this is the fourth thing, so on and so forth. From there, those short-term goals that I set for myself are based on my long-term goals. So when I set my long-term goals, this is what I do. Once a month, usually at the beginning of the month, I write, it's usually like 5 things I would love to accomplish. And they're bigger goals. They're bigger goals that I can accomplish by completing these small goals daily. For example, I remember I wanted to go on a study abroad trip. So I remember one of my goals when I first transferred to the school that I graduated from was to get connected with my Spanish teacher so that by the end of the month or the end of the semester, I would have a good enough relationship to ask her for a letter of recommendation so that I could go on this trip. Keeping that in mind, I remember going up to my teacher and introducing myself, getting to know her more, and so that I could, build that relationship. Even making longer term goals. What is it that you want to do? This could be write a book. This could be go to medical school, law school, grad school, traveling the world. This could be getting that big corporation job that you've always dreamed for. This could be making $100,000 this year. Starting up that business you've been, thinking about. All of these things are your long-term goals. And you have to kind of create your own timeline. For me, I can't go to medical school at the end of the year when I'm a sophomore. For me, that's just not realistic. If it was like last year, go to medical school. When I was applying, that's a realistic goal for me at that point. If it's for you, if you have a lot of time to write a book and you want to make your end goal a year from now, write that. Write it on your wall, write it in your journal, write it in your planner, write it down. And not only write it down, but tell your family, tell your friends, tell people that support you and hold you accountable, because that's also important. People are checking in on you, making sure you're getting things done that you need to get done. The importance of writing down these goals and making them reasonable and achievable. And what I mean by achievable is not, oh, I want to be an astronaut, but I really don't think I can do it. No, you can do it, but don't say, I want to be an astronaut by tomorrow. You can't, that's not realistic. So set realistic goals so that you can achieve them, and you're hitting those like small checkpoints that make you feel good, so that one day you can hit that large goal that you want to hit. You write down your goals. When you write down what you want to do, you're constantly thinking about it. For example, what if I just wrote down on a piece of paper today, read this entire book by this week? So I have free time, right? What am I going to be thinking about? Oh, maybe I should read that book because that's what I wanted to do. Oh, I have time to read the book. Maybe I should read it. That's the importance of writing down your goals, saying your goals out loud, because they become your thoughts, will become your reality, which is a beautiful thing. Imagine the things that you're thinking, the things that you want to achieve, your dreams are your reality. I know we say that a lot, but it really is such a beautiful thing when it happens. The last tip that I have for you is balancing out your time. And this really goes with almost everything that I said so far. The importance of getting enough sleep, waking up early, setting that schedule. What's the other one? Writing down your goals. Balancing out your time is so important. I promise you, if you are spending so much time studying, let's say you got an OChem test, right? I did this one day. I had the final the next day, and I had a physics final the next day as well. And I spent so much time in the OChem because that's what I felt not as comfortable with. But after a certain point, I was so exhausted. I wasn't learning anything anymore. And I was just stressing at that point, studying it. And so what I should have done is moved on to my physics, started studying that, maybe taking a break. I didn't take a break, and making sure that, again, balancing out what you're doing. So that's a very small example. What I mean by that is making sure you're taking time out for yourself. I don't really keep like a quantity of time I take out for myself. Like I said, when you build a schedule and you find out what works for you and you keep doing that, you think less of, okay, I'm taking out an hour a day to do this. You just are doing it. But find out what works for you, but making sure that you're balancing school, work, yourself. Because if you don't, you'll get so caught up in work. What if something goes wrong at work? Are you gonna be so stressed out that you can't focus on yourself? You can't focus on your schoolwork? You can't focus on anything else going on? But you can't stress out so much about one thing. And you're gonna stress even more if you don't take care of yourself. I don't know how else to emphasize it, but it is so important. It's so important in making sure you're productive and making sure you're getting your things done, achieving your goals. That's really all I have. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you feel like I missed, or you think that I should add, or anything that's right for you, write it down in the comments below. I would love to hear how you guys have navigated what you guys are trying to achieve, and I want you to know, no matter what it is, regardless if it's college, regardless if it's med school, I am supporting you and I am here for you. With that being said, I gotta drink my morning coffee and get productive myself. Coffee. All right, bye y'all.